You're listening to the Valley Labor Report with Adam Keller and Jacob Morrison.
Another one of the things that they're going to do in an anti-union campaign is they're going to try to make unions look bad as institutions. And one of the things that they say is the union is a business. That's the name of the folder in the next video. So let's go ahead and get that queued up, because they want to. And it's funny that they say a union is a business, and that's supposed to like make them sound bad, but because they're a business, right? They're obviously a business, where a union is not actually a business. But let's go ahead and play that, and what do you think, Connor, this video is going to say?
Honestly, I think that it's going to, my guess is that it's going to focus on, they just want to sign up members for dues. That's really all it is. They're trying to get dues revenue. They make money off of you paying dues. And they might even throw something in that, look, unions are in decline. And so they're trying to sign up as many people as they can to, avoid that.
Yeah, and I wanted to give you the chance to do that so that the audience knows just how boilerplate these things are, because that's almost exactly what they say. Adam, go ahead and roll that clip.
A union is not a charity. It's not a club, and it's not part of the government. It's a business that has to take in money to survive, but it doesn't have any products to sell. All it has is memberships to sell. A union's only source of income is the money they charge members.
Money for initiation and dues and fines and assessments. You get the picture. So it's pretty obvious that the fewer members their business has, the less money they collect.
The union's only alternative is to get more people to pay their hard-earned money to them in dues every month.
And that's becoming more and more of a problem for unions every day. 50 years ago, 1 out of every 3 workers was in a union. Today,
yep. See, so that's everything. Everything that you said, Connor, is like that's what they're going to find. And that was actually from a Target anti-union video, but they also had stuff like that in the Lowe's and in the Amazon. It's really all the same. What is your response, or how do you inoculate workers against this misinformation from management before they hear it?
Well, I think that one of the first things is, again, this is part of, I think, a broader trend in anti-union campaigns trying to make the union seem like an outside party that you're paying money to. And I think that a good, well-organized campaign is driven by the workers and empowers the workers, and they understand that they have ownership of it in a way that really makes that message not land effectively, because they're going to look around themselves and say, no, we're making the decisions. We're not paying money to some outside party. The union is us.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the best things that you can do to kind of strengthen a campaign against that kind of approach, and then just make people understand what those dues are for, and that management is going to tell you this. Understanding that those dues are about collective power. Management has buckets of money, as shown by the amount of money that they spend on union, quote unquote, avoidance consultants. All we have is organized people and organized money. And dues are just organized money, and how it's used is decided by the membership of the union. So ultimately, this is money that's accountable to those members, that they decide how it's used. I don't know of any workplace where, certainly not in the United States, where workers have any voice in how capital in the business is directed or invested or, reinvested in the enterprise. So, I mean, it's trying to create this false equivalence, like, well, why would you even trust them? They're just a business, they're just trying to scam you. But I mean, it's very clearly different.
Alabama's only union talk radio show. This is the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison, here with my co-host and fellow agitator, Adam Keller. We are joined by Connor Lewis. He is a union staffer in Pennsylvania. He is a member of the independent labor journalism collective Strike Wave, and we are talking Unions 102. Last month, we did a Unions 101 episode where we went over the super basics. We went over, like, what is a union? How do you get one? How do they work? What can they do for you? Some really basic stuff. This week, we are talking about what the employer, what your boss is going to try to do to keep you from having a union and convince you that it is not in your best interest when it very clearly is. And we are going to go into some bargaining, what it's going to be like when you actually get to help write the contract you work under. It's so we're if you missed Unions 101 last month, you can find that on our podcast feed or our YouTube channel, thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe, or YouTube at the Valley Labor Report. Good places to go. And if you want to learn more about what's happening in the labor community, you have got to check out Strike Wave. It is thestrikewave.org. It is a fantastic place to go. They have stories that no one else has, and in ways that no one else has it. It's a really good place. They've got a newsletter you should sign up for. You can sign up for it on their website, thestrikewave.org. Great place to go. Really, really great place. So we appreciate Connor's time today. And we had another person mention in the chat that, and I want to repeat what they said for everybody listening on the radio, because it's such a good point before we go into what they're going to say about what unions can and can't do. He said on the issue of unions being a business and trying to, unions only want to organize because they're a business, and so we just want to regenerate, and like it's a profit motive, and that's the only thing motivating unions. And so therefore unions are bad. Jeb, who is a member of the iron workers here in the area, he said that I'd love to see these businesses have pre-approval by their employees for all expenditures the way that the union does. Not a penny is spent that my membership doesn't know about and approve. And that's so important, right? Like, businesses don't operate that way. Every penny is that is spent by unions is they make that aware to their membership, and it has to be approved by their membership. That is something that simply does not happen with businesses. That level of transparency, that democratic input, which really kind of puts the notion of unions as a business to bed, because businesses are top-down hierarchical institutions that the people at the bottom don't have any control over. And that's just simply not the way that unions operate.
I think that's a really important point. I'm glad you emphasized that, because all unions vary in how democratic they are, how transparent they are, and some, have some room for progress. That's, we've never shied away from that on this show. But even those who have their issues are far more democratic and far more transparent than any company will ever be.
Yeah.
The company has no reason to do that. And the only way you have any sort of transparency or democracy in the workplace is by organizing and having a union. So I'm glad, thanks, Jeb, for pointing that out.
Yeah. Yeah, we love Jeb. The Ironworkers are a proud sponsor of the show. We are proud to have them as well. Love Jeb, love the Ironworkers here. If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week and get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We are on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at Jacob M_AL. And if you miss part of the show and watch it want to watch it later, you can go to YouTube at The Valley Labor Report. We also upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps, so you can find us on your listening platform of choice at thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe. We have a website where you can buy our hats and stickers. Somebody accidentally bought too many, so we thought we were out, but we've got 2 more that were returned. So if you still want a hat, we've got 2 more left. That is thevalleylaborreport.org. And the best way that you can support the show is by throwing us a couple dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report.